most people are going to end the year the exact same way they started it, broke with no plan, wondering why their money never seems to stretch far enough. And the worst part, it's not because they don't make enough. It's because nobody ever taught them what I'm going to teach you today. Here's the thing, and it took me years to figure this out. Personal finance is not complicated. The problem is that it gets presented like some kind of rocket science, full of jargon, impossible spreadsheets, and advice that sounds great on paper but does absolutely nothing in real life. Today I'm going to show you exactly how you can turn your financial situation around in just 3 months. Not with some magic trick, not with a get-rich-quick investment, not with a $1,000 online course. With a method that anyone can start applying this week. But before you keep reading, there's something important I need you to understand. Something most finance videos never tell you, and it's exactly what separates the people who actually change their financial lives from the ones who keep going in circles year after year. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, someone I know, let's call her Ashley, was making around $4,500 a month. Not a bad income. For a lot of people, that's a decent salary, but Ashley was getting to payday with $0 in her account, sometimes overdrawn, with no idea why. She paid rent, bought groceries, went out a little on weekends, and the money just vanished, like she had a hole in her pocket. Sound familiar? Ashley's problem wasn't her income, it was the absence of a system. Without a system, money does whatever it wants, and what it usually wants is to leave. So what did she do? She applied exactly what I'm about to explain to you. In 3 months, she built her first emergency fund, paid off a credit card balance she'd been carrying for 2 years, and for the first time in her life felt like she was in charge of her money, not the other way around. So let's break it down. 3 months, 3 phases, each with a clear goal. Follow them in order, and by the end of month 3, you're going to see results you didn't think were possible. Month 1, financial surgery. The first month is the toughest emotionally, but it's the most important. This is where you open your eyes for real, because most people have a pretty fuzzy idea of where their money actually goes. They think they know. They don't. Step 1, face the numbers. The first exercise, one most people avoid because it's a little scary, is to pull up all your bank and credit card statements from the last 3 months. All of them. Credit cards, debit, Venmo, Zelle, cash if you tracked it. Then categorize every single expense into 3 buckets: needs, wants, and debt payments. Needs are things you literally cannot live without: rent or mortgage, groceries, utilities, transportation, medication. Wants are everything else: Netflix, Spotify, DoorDash, clothes you didn't need, nights out, subscriptions you forgot you had. And debt payments cover credit cards, student loans, car payments, buy now pay later plans. When you finish this exercise, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either you'll be pleasantly surprised by how well you're spending, or you'll want to close the browser tab and pretend you never saw it. Most people land in the second camp, and that's okay. This isn't about judgment, it's about understanding. According to data from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, over 60% of Americans don't know exactly how much they spend in a given month. More than half. And you can't fix what you don't know. Step 2, the 50-30-20 rule. Once you know where your money is going, the next step is to apply the 50-30-20 rule. It's straightforward. 50% of your take-home pay goes to needs, 30% goes to wants, and 20% goes straight to savings or debt payoffs, whichever is more urgent. I know what you're thinking, but I can't even cover my needs with 50%. Fair point. In cities like New York, LA, or San Francisco, rent alone can eat up 40% or more of a paycheck. The rule isn't perfect for every situation, but it gives you a target to aim for. The goal of month 1 isn't to hit the perfect percentages. The goal is to know exactly where you stand and start making adjustments. Step 3, the latte effect, aka death by 1,000 cuts. These are the small purchases that seem harmless, but are quietly eating a huge chunk of your income. A $6 coffee every day is $180 a month. 2 DoorDash orders a week at $25 each is $200 a month. A streaming subscription you never watch is $15 thrown away. Small, but add it all up and you're easily looking at $400 to $800 a month going to things that aren't really adding value to your life. I'm not telling you to stop enjoying your life or cancel everything. I'm telling you to be intentional. Every purchase should be a decision, not an autopilot habit. Month 1 challenge: cut 20% of your wants spending and move that money somewhere separate. A separate savings account, a cash envelope, whatever works for you, but do not touch it. That money is starting to build your financial future. Month 2, attack the debt. If you made it to month 2, you're already part of the small group of people who are actually doing this, because most people quit in the first week. Month 2 has one clear focus: attacking your debt. And here's something fundamental you need to understand. Not all debt is the same, and the order in which you pay it off matters a lot. Snowball versus avalanche. There are two main strategies for paying off debt. The first is the debt snowball, popularized by Dave Ramsey. Pay off the smallest balance first, regardless of interest rate. Why? Because when you fully knock out a debt, even a small one, your brain gets a dopamine hit that keeps you motivated. It's basically a psychological hack to keep you on track. The debt avalanche says to attack the highest interest debt first, because mathematically that saves you the most money long term. Which is better? Depends on how you're wired. If you need quick wins to stay motivated, go with the snowball. If you're the analytical type who can play the long game, the avalanche saves you more cash. Ashley, the person from the beginning of this story, had 3 debts: a $3,200 credit card balance at 24% APR, about the national average in the US, $800 she owed a family member interest-free, and a $6,000 personal loan at 12% APR. She went with the snowball. First, she paid off the family debt, $800. Done. Then she tackled the credit card with everything she had after covering basic expenses. Last, the personal loan. Why does the credit card make sense to attack early? Because a credit card at 24% APR is a wealth-destroying machine. If you only make minimum payments, in 5 years, you'll have paid back way more than you originally owed and still be in the hole. That's not an exaggeration, it's just math. Call your lenders. In month 2, do something most people never think to do. Call your creditors. If you have credit card or loan debt, you can often negotiate. Many banks and lenders have hardship programs or balance transfer options they don't advertise openly. Ask about a lower interest rate, a payment plan, or consolidation options. The worst they can say is no, and a lot of the time, they say yes. The emergency fund, whatever you saved in month 1, gets split in month 2. Half goes toward your emergency fund and half goes to accelerated debt payoff. An emergency fund is money you only touch when something unexpected hits. The car breaks down, you have a medical bill, you lose your job. Most experts recommend 3 to 6 months of basic expenses saved, but in the beginning, even 1 month is a massive win. Without it, any unexpected expense sends you right back to credit card debt. It's the weak link in most financial plans. People get so focused on paying off debt that they have no cushion. And the moment something comes up, and something always comes up, they pull out the plastic and start from scratch. Think about extra income month. 2 is also a good time to think about whether you can bring in extra money. I'm not saying grind 16 hours a day. I'm talking about something concrete and realistic. Do you have skills you could offer as a freelancer on Upwork or Fiverr? Stuff sitting around the house you could sell on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. Time on weekends for a side gig. In today's gig economy, there are more options than ever, and any extra income directed 100% toward debt payoff or your emergency fund can supercharge your progress. The moment nobody talks about nobody. The breaking point here. I need to pause and be real with you about something almost no personal finance content ever mentions. Around week 7 or 8, and right in the middle of month 2, most people who try to fix their finances hit a wall. Not a financial wall, a motivation wall. The early excitement is gone. It's not new anymore. The results don't feel spectacular yet, and the doubts creep in. What's the point? Does this actually work? I deserve a break. And that's exactly when most people quit. Not in week 1 when it's hard, but in week 7 or 8 when they should be seeing results but can't feel them yet in everyday life. You know what separates the people who push through from the ones who don't? It's not willpower. It's not iron discipline. It's having a crystal clear why. Why are you doing this? What are you working toward? If your answer is vague, I want to be in a better financial spot, it won't hold. You need something specific and emotional. I want to stop feeling that knot in my stomach every time the end of the month rolls around. I want to take my kids on a vacation without putting it on a credit card. I want to quit this job I hate within 2 years because I'll have enough saved up to figure out what's next. That's what keeps you going when motivation fails. And motivation always fails at some point. Always. Another thing that helps a lot at this point, celebrate the small wins. You paid off your first debt. Celebrate. Not with a nice dinner that wrecks your budget, but with something that feels good without costing much or anything. Watch that movie you've been meaning to see. Take a day off. Do something you enjoy. Your brain needs rewards to keep going. Month 3. Build. If you made it to month 3, something important has already happened. You have a system. You're not winging it anymore. You know where your money goes. Your debts are under control or paid off, and you have at least a small emergency fund. That's huge. Month 3 is where the exciting part begins. Building. Goal 1. Lock in what you've built. Review the numbers. How much did you save over 3 months? How much debt did you pay off? Is your emergency fund growing? Write it down. Put it in concrete numbers. Because when you see the progress on paper, it becomes real. Goal 2. Start thinking about investing. Let me be very clear because there's so much noise in this space. I'm not telling you to throw money into crypto. I'm not telling you to put your savings into schemes promising 20% monthly returns. That's a scam always. And I'm not saying you need a lot of money to start. In the US today, you can start investing with as little as $1 through platforms like Fidelity, Vanguard, Charles Schwab, or apps like Robinhood, Acorns, or Betterment. The point isn't to get rich overnight. The point is to start putting your money to work for you, even just a little bit. Inflation in the US has hovered between 3% and 8% in recent years. That means if your money is sitting in a regular savings account earning less than 1%, you're actually losing purchasing power every year. Your money is shrinking even when you don't touch it. So investing isn't optional if you want your money to actually grow. It's necessary, but there's a critical order here. First, pay off high interest debt, then build your emergency fund. Only then start investing. Why? Because it makes 0 sense to invest when you're paying 24% APR on a credit card. You'd be earning 5% over here and losing 24% over there. The math doesn't work in your favor. Goal 3. Automate everything. Behavioral finance research shows this over and over. The best way to save money is to make it automatic, before the money ever hits your checking account. If you wait to see what's left over at the end of the month to save, there will never be anything left. There's always something to spend it on. Instead, set up an automatic transfer on payday that sends your savings to a separate account before you can touch it. The money becomes invisible to your brain, and you stop feeling like you're sacrificing anything. How much to automate? Whatever you manage to save in months 1 and 2. If you put away $200 a month, automate $200. If you manage $500, automate $500. The number matters less than the habit. Goal 4. Plan the next 12 months. Now that you have a working system, it's time to think longer term. What do you want to accomplish financially in the next year? Pay off another debt? Hit a certain savings number? Start contributing a set amount monthly to a Roth IRA or 401k. Save for something specific like a new car, a down payment on a house, or a trip. Write down your financial goals for the next 12 months. Put numbers and dates on them. I want to have $15,000 saved by December is a real goal. I want to save more is a wish. And here's something I think is really important. Talk about money with the people close to you. One of the biggest taboos in American culture is openly discussing personal finances. We don't talk about what we make, what we owe, or ask for advice because it feels embarrassing or private. And that isolation keeps people stuck in the same financial problems. If you have a partner, you need to be on the same page about money. Research consistently shows that financial disagreements are one of the top predictors of relationship breakdowns. If you have kids, start talking to them about money early. Financial literacy that isn't taught at home has to be learned the hard way in adulthood. What nobody tells you about the 3 months is not enough time to fix 20 or 30 years of bad financial habits. What 3 months is enough for is changing your direction, proving to yourself that you can do it, building the basic system you need to grow from. Think of it like going to the gym. In 3 months, you don't become a professional athlete, but in 3 months, you can build the habit, see the first results, and most importantly, change your relationship with exercise. Same thing with money. And there's something else I want you to understand. The path is not linear. There will be bad months. Unexpected stuff will come up. There will be moments when you feel like you blew it completely. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. What matters is what you do after you stumble. Here's a number I find genuinely powerful. According to a Federal Reserve survey, nearly 37% of Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency expense without borrowing or selling something. That means if you finish these 3 months with an emergency fund and a savings habit in place, you're already ahead of a massive chunk of the population in terms of financial preparedness. That's not a small thing, and it doesn't require making more money. It requires a system. It requires awareness. It requires consistency. Ashley, the person from the beginning of this story, 3 months after starting this process, had her credit card at zero for the first time in years, had a $2,000 emergency fund, and for the first time in her adult life, felt like her financial future was something she was actively building, not just something that was happening to her. Was it easy? No. Was it worth it? More than anything. Right now, as you're reading this, there's probably a part of you thinking, yeah, sounds good, but my situation is more complicated. I get it. There are always specific circumstances, but I'll also tell you this, that voice telling you your case is different, that this won't work for you, that you need more money first or better circumstances. That voice is your comfort zone protecting itself from change. And change, even when it's uncomfortable, is exactly what you need. Start today. Not tomorrow, not Monday, not next month, today. Even if it's just the first step, pulling up last month's bank statement and categorizing your spending. That takes 30 minutes. And those 30 minutes could be the turning point of your financial life. Because the best time to start managing your money well was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now. If you want to take the next step and understand how investing actually works for someone starting from scratch, the next video breaks it all down. No jargon, no fluff.